Hey everyone, it's Austin, and today we're looking into the future. Well, sort of. Let's face it, time marches on. We are all getting older and so are our cars. What can you do? Well, we can make a plan for things that we know are bound to happen. We've talked about proper, regular maintenance and the importance of talking to your mechanic about the things going wrong with your car in the here and now. But here's when I talk about the things that haven't happened yet, but will. I don't need a crystal ball to predict the future. I have the manufacturer's service manual for that. And it tells me that at certain times, certain things will need to be adjusted, repaired, or replaced. Each car or truck has critical parts that last a long time, but not forever. And some of those things tend to be a big project to work on, and therefore, hold on, expensive. Okay, still with me? It's not that bad, really. You just have to know what is coming so that you're not surprised. You and I will have a talk about this because every vehicle has different needs. Some have timing belts or chains in the engine that, well, they only need to be replaced every 100,000 miles. They might cost $1,000 to replace. But don't replace it and it snaps? That's like a fatal heart attack. Goodbye, engine. Do you have an all-wheel or four-wheel drive vehicle? Well, we need to plan to adjust the transfer case and its lubricant. Not a huge expense, but it's got to be done every 50,000 miles. Then there are hoses. Some modern cars have a lot of hoses for coolant, fuel, vacuum. Ugh. They're all rubber, and rubber has a fairly short life of only a few years. You will need to plan to replace all of those eventually, or they will leak, and bad things happen when hoses leak. Again, each car is different, and we will come up with a plan and expected cost to replace all of those. Similarly, things like water pumps have an expected life, and while not expensive by themselves, they require a fair amount of work to do the replacement. Now, for some cars, there are very specific, and in some cases, truly expensive repairs that need to be planned for. I'm not going to scare the rest of you, but if you have one of those cars, we will have a serious talk to prepare you for what that might entail. Luckily, modern cars don't require the regular tune-ups the way that older cars needed, but every 100,000 miles, you may need new spark plugs. Those are still pretty cheap, but getting to them these days is a lot of work. I have to spend a lot of time to dig through all the stuff the car makers jam onto the engine and into the engine compartment just to get to those little things. And that's a real cost. Then there are the small but important things like your brake pads. Not the biggest expense, but it does cost money. And if you are aware, you won't be surprised. See, this is easy. Just as your father said, put money in a jar for a rainy day. I'll encourage you to do the same for these long range but very expected repairs. That way, you won't be caught off guard when it comes time to address them. I'm Austin, happy motoring.